So one of the questions I've been getting asked the most recently is what loadout do I use on every map here in the Hunter Call of the Wild, and I actually use the same weapons regardless of what map I'm on, and the reason for that is just simplicity. I don't have to go through and change every single weapon that I use regardless of the map. I've got these same 4 weapons every map that I hunt on, and they are the 223, the 7mm, the 44 pistol, and the crossbow. The reason for that is that I can take every animal in the game with full integrity, drop them with full quick kill, and I can go loud or quietly, of course, using the crossbow. So the only other thing that I feel like I actually have to show here are these sights. I bring the Argus scope, obviously you can switch that out for the Hyperion if you want, and then I've got the handgun scope and the crossbow scope. Other than that, it is just the normal colors that I bring. Right now I've got my Hirschfeld colors still. I have to switch those to the Leighton Lake ones since we are here on Leighton. And there is room for binoculars and scent eliminator. That is with the normal, pack mule perk. So that's 20 units, and I can carry all of that. I never have to switch my weapons. I find it to be really convenient. So the first question you might have is about the 223 and how I'm shooting long range on deer. Because like you maybe wouldn't realize if you've been watching my videos for a while, you do know that 223 can in fact take down deer, definitely up to whitetail and probably some bigger species as well if you make the shot. So I just want to show it on this level 3 blacktail. We'll get out the 223. We are zeroed for 150, and if we can make this spawn shot, he will actually drop in his tracks. So let's go for that. He should stand there for just a second. He kind of like glitched a little bit, and then he just falls to the ground. So we'll have 100% on the integrity and the quick kill. And I've just been using the 223 as my long-range deer rifle for a while. Obviously, you can use the crossbow. You can call them in if you want. Or even the 44 for the whitetail. That's definitely an option as well. But I prefer the 223, just like personally I like that zoom on the Argus scope, and again you can use the Hyperion if you prefer that. I personally have been using the Argus scope again for a long time and having no problems with it, so that's just my like personal preference. But yeah, the 223 is more than capable of bringing down the deer species. So if you didn't know that, I wanted to show that, and we might even have a gold here. We do. 134 trophy rating, 819 blacktail, and you can see the penetration of that 223. It's right about halfway into the spine, so you don't have a lot of leeway. You do need to make sure you are shooting a very broadside animal. You don't want angles like, let's just say the deer is facing like this. You don't want to be shooting for the center of the spine there. You're going through a lot of extra flesh that you do not want. But if you can get that broadside shot, the 223 is more than capable of bringing down the deer species. So I will say there is one species, obviously, that you can't take long range with integrity with this loadout, and that is the rabbit. So if you want to do rabbit hunting specifically, you obviously want to carry the 22. I personally have them just as opportunity kills, so if I see them, I'll try to get them with the crossbow and the 300 grain bolts. I'll show that just here in a minute if we can get in range on these guys. But yeah, I don't really worry about it unless I see a level 3 rabbit or maybe a rare. I just don't even bother with them anymore. So that's why I don't carry the 22. But it's definitely an option. You could get the 22 in there and maybe take out the 223 and only bow the deer. Obviously, there's a lot of different options, but this is my personal favorite. And we are just about 30 meters from this one. So as long as it doesn't go anywhere, we'll try to get a shot on it with the crossbow. I think there's another one that's actually closer, but if one of them will stop, we are zeroed for 30, so that should be okay. Alright, that one's actually taken off probably because of the wind. Where's this one at? See if it'll stop for a second. There we go. Or this one. There we go. Alright. So you can see the 300 grain bolts on the rabbits having no problems, and just in case you've not seen it, they do in fact give integrity. You can see the 100% on everything. No problems there whatsoever. So that is the only kind of exception to that when I say you can take any species long range or short. The rabbits are the only one you have to take short range. Even the geese, you could actually use the 223 for long range and the crossbow for short if you wanted it. If I was specifically hunting geese, I would of course bring shotguns, but that's kind of like an entirely different thing in itself. Another question I actually get asked a lot is the 338 worth it? And I would say yes, because it is better than the 7mm. You get more penetration, more expansion. You can end up getting a higher quick kill if you make a not ideal shot. But the 7mm is more than capable of taking down even the biggest species. We'll do Bison a little bit later when we go to Hirschfelden. But just to show it on a moose, if we go for a spine shot here while he is eating, he drops in his tracks. We'll get quick kill and integrity on that. And by the way, like I mentioned using the Argus scope, not a lot of people use it. A lot of times people are surprised to see that I use it on pretty much all my rifles, that is what I do. You just saw me do it right there. I'll aim above, I'll let the just natural drop of the weapon happen, like as I'm holding my breath, and when it drops into the spine, that is when I take my shot. So just in case you're curious about that, I thought I would mention it. But yeah, the 338 is definitely worth it, but I wouldn't worry about getting it right away. I would work to the 7mm, grab that, and then maybe worry about the other things that you need in the game first, and then look at getting the 338, because the 7mm is more than capable of taking down everything in the game if you can make those spine shots, as we did here on this moose, which we will pick up and show the integrity where we hit it, and of course the quick kill being 100% with that spine shot. Almost a gold as well, 795, but straight through the spine. You see that penetration much better than the 223 on the blacktail, going all the way through. So you've got some leeway with that, which is quite nice. So the biggest thing generally that I'll shoot with the 223 is a whitetail or a fallow deer, because they are the same maximum weight. So let's just go for a spine shot on this. While she is broadside, just to show, even though they are a bit bigger than the blacktail, you can drop them as well with the 223. I don't tend to go any bigger than that. I know you can definitely get 100% quick kill on some species. We did it with red deer in a challenge one time, but you have to make a very specific shot. If you watch my 30-30 video, you have to make that like double spine shot, or I think you can actually penetrate neck and spine if you get lower neck. But anyway, I don't recommend going for that on anything that's very big. So that's of course what the other weapons are for. The wrong organ is highlighting, but you can see we got thoracic spine there. So that is the biggest thing I would shoot with the 223. Anything above that, I'm using the 44 if the 7mm does not give integrity on it. So the actual reason I've even got the 44 Magnum in this loadout is specifically for the wild boar, because they're kind of that animal that don't fit. The 223 is kind of too light to bring them down, and the 7mm does not give integrity on them. So that is what I use the 44 on. So the wind is not ideal here. We're going to 0 for 75. We're probably taking somewhat of a long shot, but if we can get something lined up, one of these will actually turn more broadside. That would be better. This one's kind of head on, though. I could go for that. If it does slow down, they're actually just coming straight in, though. This one stopped. Let's go for that. And that was probably not even 100 meters. I aimed dead on and dropped it, I think, with a brain shot, but I'll just show the penetration, what you get on a wild boar. But yeah, that is exactly what the 44 is for in this loadout, for the wild boar to take them down with a little more range than the crossbow can. Obviously, the crossbow is great on them. A double lung shot will actually drop them, but in this case, straight brain, you can see how far back it penetrated. You can go through double lung. I think double lung gives like 96% quick kill close range, so you do want a spine shot if you're going for a diamond, but obviously the 44 has all kinds of power for these wild boar. So as I said earlier, the 7mm will drop the biggest species currently in the game, the European bison, and we'll do that right now. 0'd for 150, and we'll just go for a spine shot on this front one. I think they're all females anyway, so that doesn't so much matter. But as you can see, she drops in her tracks, no problem. We don't even have them like standing there like with the 223. It's got more than enough power to drop them immediately, which is quite nice. Like I said, it's all about just like ease of being able to just switch maps without having to have a big issue of switching my inventory every time. I just switch my calls and I'm good to go. And I like it better that way. You could obviously switch your weapons per map. I just personally don't. I find these 4 weapons to be fine for every species, and I'm not like, I really have, let's say I had a diamond, maybe a diamond whitetail, and I had to take it with a 223. I've got more than enough confidence that I can make the shot with that 223. I wouldn't be worried that, say, I don't have enough penetration or whatever. I'm definitely a fan of that 223, and it's definitely got enough power to bring down even the whitetail, the biggest species that I said I would take with it. And just to take a look at where we hit this one, straight through the spine, you can see it doesn't penetrate as far, so you do need to be a little bit careful with your shot and just make sure that you're good on the angle, but it still penetrates about halfway through, similar to the 223, and we did catch a lung there as well, which is quite nice. But actually, that's not the reason that it did drop immediately. Just a straight spine shot, they will drop immediately. They won't stand there for a moment like the blacktail did earlier. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show this loadout. I know this video is somewhat short, but you guys have asked about it, and I just wanted to pretty much show it off and say that it's kind of like, in my opinion, the best loadout there is, to like not have to switch things every single time you switch a map. So if I can just get this brown bear to stand up nicely for us, just like that. That'll do just fine. We'll just drop her there with the 7mm, once more showing off that. And yeah, guys, I'm curious, what is the loadout that you would say is the best? Do you guys have a loadout that you use on every single map, or do you switch it every time you switch? And also, because I'm talking about integrity and so much of that stuff in this video, we do have some spreadsheets on the Discord, so if you want to join that, the link is in the description below. It's really helpful for finding diamonds and stuff and knowing what weight tracks to find, what trophy rating you need, what weapons give integrity, and all that good stuff. So if you're not already a member of the Discord, be sure to do that in the link below. And yeah, that's going to wrap up this video. So thank you guys for sticking around to the end. If you've done that, it is very much appreciated, and I will see you next time.